Okay, so I had some great feedback and response to our last video regarding leasing and how to negotiate a car and car sales. And let's face it, uh, purchasing an automobile, buying the insurance, fueling it, repairing it, this is a major part of everybody's budget. I don't care who you are. I mean, unless you're Jeff Bezos, God bless him. This is a big part of cost for most people. And generally speaking, people have more than one car, and it's just a lot of money. And there's no need to spend more than you have to. I mean, I don't understand when you go to the supermarket, you don't have to negotiate with the people who own the supermarket when you buy groceries. When you buy a suit, you don't have to negotiate with the people at Nordstrom's. Why this whole negotiation thing exists with car dealers is beyond me, but that's the way it is. And it's really, frankly, a big headache. And the internet has made it better, but I think a lot of people aren't aware of all the pitfalls of buying a car. So, in light of that, I'm going to do part two of this. And what you'd have to do is when you start, the way I would suggest is first begin when you need a car by determining what your budget is. And you're never going to get, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to get it exactly where you want it, but at least come up with some sort of variance of a budget in terms of what you want to spend, because it's easy to get caught up in the moment, and look at the bells and whistles and say, wow, I got to have this or I have to have that, and get away from what you really need to spend, because all it is an automobile. And once you have it and it's been in your driveway, I don't care what it is, even if it's a Bentley, and I'm not a car guy, but after 10 minutes, after 10 days, it's a car. So, and then you're still writing the checks. So that's just a little bit of personal advice from me. But at any rate, once you've come up with that kind of budget, then you could, and the reason why I say start with a budget, then look at all the cars in that range and what you need. It's like buying a house. What do I need? What am I actually going to use? And where, and what's my objective here? And once you have that, then you just can go to something like Kelly Blue Book and look up a car. Let's say we're going to look at the, I don't know, we're going to look at a Ford. We'll look at a Ford, and then we'll take a model. Let's say the Edge, which I've had some of those. They're really nice cars and very reasonably priced, I thought. And you pick pick the year, and right off the bat, and then, go through it. Spend a little time, look at all the bells and whistles, decide what you need, on and on and on, and then start selecting options. And to be quite honest, you will be able to price your car pretty accurately. And there you go. And you can even price your trade in the same way. And you could start to get an idea of what the car should actually cost. So, and then look at a couple of local dealers, see what they have in the lot, because they should be able to give you a better deal with what's on the lot. And at that point, if you use my leasing video and look at what's most efficient, leasing or buying, people say, well, I buy the car. There's some people say, I buy a car. That's mindless. Who cares how much money you have in the bank? The reality is, if you're taking it out of the bank, it's economics. You're losing money that you could invest elsewhere. So if you're going to get a better, if someone's giving me 0% financing or a great deal on a lease where I only have to pay for it for 3 years, it all depends on your objectives. I mean, if you're going to keep the car for 10 or 15 years, well, then buy it and you could purchase it. If they're giving you 0%, I love 0% money. Give me 0% all day long rather than, and I can invest my money at a better rate than zero and make the spread. So it really is irrelevant what your financial situation is. What's more relevant is what the rate of cost is. Is it zero? How much is the lease? What is the residual? What are you renting the car for, frankly? You have to work out the numbers and use my first video as a guide to how to do that and really understand what you're paying. And then don't forget, you're going to have insurance costs. So I would spend some time once I decide on some sort of car, calling my insurance broker and just getting a general idea. But generally speaking, it should be not too, onerous. But there is going to be a monthly cost, and maybe a car that's a little more souped up or whatever might cost you some more. That's operating costs. And like a house, operating costs come into play. So you want to think about all that stuff before you get involved with this whole craziness with automobiles. At any rate, once you've done that, now you're forearmed because you could walk into the dealer and know what this thing should cost. And you could know that if you want to look here, they even tell you, they even show you vehicles. If you want to try different vehicles or you want to try something different in the category, you have all that information. And you should look at a couple of different automakers. You shouldn't just stick with one automaker because you might find that another brand has a better deal at that point because it all depends on what they want to sell. If they're stuck with inventory, they're going to make a good deal. Obviously, it's better in January. I just bought a car in January. You always do better after the holidays. There are good times of the year to buy a car. But you may find that some companies are stuck with a car and they want to make a good deal, and you get a very good deal. You could save 20-30% a month, which could be hundreds of dollars. So I would suggest you doing all of your work and spend the hours because maybe it takes you 10 hours or 8 hours. That's the kind of number I would put on it. But you're talking about saving thousands of dollars. And people will spend a lot of time clipping a coupon to go to the supermarket and not looking at their 401k or these big costs. And once you've done that, well, then I have some more basic things you need to know once you go in. And I don't mean to pick on these guys. They got to make a living, but let's face it, they have a tough reputation for a good reason. So some of the things they'll try once you get in there. Now you've got in there, you're all excited, you're picking out a color. I mean, that's all part of the sales thing. So once again, remember, think about the cars you've owned. After you own them for a while, they're just cars. And some of the stuff that you may see them try are going to be the bait and switch, where they'll say, we'll agree on it. You go back and forth. They tell you there's the deal. You're going to pay this much a month. You're good. We're done. And then when you go back, well, there's a problem, or I couldn't give you the exact price. They'll always, generally speaking, try to add another $10 or $20 a month to the cost, or $1,000, whatever it is, however you're purchasing it. So be aware of that. And my advice is, and I've seen people do it, and it's the smartest thing, just get up and walk out. And believe me, they'll track you. They'll come running after you. Maybe once in a while they won't, but they'll eventually call you back. And if it's not them, there's 15 dealers down the road. Just go to another dealer. But someone is not going to want you walking away, especially if they put the time in. They're going to know once you walk out, you're not coming back. So you tell them that's the price. Once they've agreed to the price, I would not budge on that price. And they will absolutely 100% try to change that price. Do not budge. Walk out. 95% of the time, they're going to either call you back later, give you a day, or you'll get the price somewhere else. Remember, they don't make the car. They're just selling it. The second thing is they'll ask for a credit check, and that's another place where they'll try to up the price. Well, your credit's A1, it's A2. Listen, I don't care how good your credit is. They will find a reason to say that you can't get the best rate. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So no matter how good your credit is, there'll always be the question about a credit check. Do not get intimidated. People take these things very personal. The difference between the highest credit rating and the second highest credit rating could be a nominal thing, and people get very caught up in that, and they get very and again, it's a psychological thing. Hey, listen, you're there to make a deal, so you just say, look, I know what my credit is. You made the deal. You should. Given the fact that there's all kinds of credits out there, I don't know how you can make this assumption based on what I'm doing. So they will make the deal. They'll back off. The third thing that is really crazy, and I don't know why they do it, I should probably save it for the end. Let me do the others. There's ups and extras. Once you get started, then they'll try to sell you on undercoating, overcoating, put this on, special wheel, service agreement. No, 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 and no. They're all extra costs that you don't need to get involved in. You're caught up in the moment. You know what? You can buy it in the aftermarket. Generally speaking, lease, whatever, you get the oil change at your local oil place. You don't need to get involved if it's a big issue, then go to the warranty. If it's a small issue like oil changes and stuff like that, anyone can do it. Another thing they might say is, oh, we thought we had your car. We can't locate your car. We have to get another car because now you've stuck to your deal. Well, then, again, look out. You had this car on the lot. If you can't deliver and believe me, there's tons of the same car out there. And production automobiles, they make loads of them. Say, if you can't find my car, give me a car with more features. See? And again, all of these things, trust me, as long as you're willing to walk out, you'll get what you want. And finally, if you have a trade-in, that's going to be an issue. Now, sometimes you might be underwater on the trade-in. Maybe the trade-in isn't exactly what you thought it's worth, but it's not as what they think it's worth. So again, if you think it's worth X and they think it's worth X plus 30%, there's got to be a number in the middle that makes sense. And they've got room if they want to sell you a car. I mean, again, as I said in my last video, if they're smiling when you're walking out and they're your best friend, you got killed. But you know, they should be a little annoyed. And generally speaking, if you know what you're doing, they'll be annoyed. The last thing, which I don't know why they do this, but I want to throw this in, is I call it the waiting game. After you've made this agreement and they understand there's no more room and anything else, then you sit there for 2 hours looking at your cell phone while they put the paperwork together. Now, I understand if you have your credit, if you have your insurance guys ready and you took care of your insurance and it's all set up for you, why it takes 2 hours, sometimes three, to put paperwork together. My sense is, and I don't know this any more than on gospel, is that they'll spend time maybe hoping you get tired, and if they throw something in, you'll go for it. Or you'll just want to get it done and you'll sign something. I went to one thing where at the end they said, sign this, I'm signing all these papers, and one paper was that if I turned the car in on a lease, I'd have to pay an extra $500 disposition fee. It's like, no, it's not happening. I don't have to do that. This is, and it looked like a kind of like an off-the-run paper. So maybe that's the whole waiting thing. You know, it's a very psychological thing. When people are negotiating with you, they'll let you wait, wait, and wait. Hopefully that you get disgusted or tired and you'll just go along with some stuff. I would just walk in and say, if this thing isn't done soon, call me at home. I'm out of here. They put a man on the moon. They took a man from here, they put him on the moon, and they brought him back. There's no reason why it should take 2 hours to put paperwork together. I would give them a firm deadline, tell them you have things to do, walk out if they don't do it. But trust me, if you listen to all of these things and you follow my first directives and my first video, you'll be very happy. And if you do this over the lifetime of all the cars that you're ever going to buy, trust me, you will save thousands and thousands of dollars. So I hope this is a help. I'm sure some of the car dealers aren't going to be too happy about it, but you know what? That's not my problem. All right, and it's always great talking to my classes, and I hope that this is a help. Thank you.